I can barely hold all this. Got everything. All right, well, good morning. It's Eric the Racket Scientist here, and I say morning because it is, what time is it right now? It's like 9 a.m. on a Sunday, which I guess isn't that really that early, but because of jet lag, I was up at 6:40 a.m., which, yeah. So got home last night. I was on a trip to Taipei in Taiwan and China, southern China as well. Filming this video this morning because couldn't really wait to record all of my haul. Needless to say, I bought a lot of rackets while I was abroad. And well, I guess let's get right into it. So, well, first of all, why did I buy so much stuff? Well, so just to kind of give you a look here, maybe I'll just hold this. Taiwan specifically, I guess any city in Taiwan, Taipei, I was in Taipei. Taiwan is one of the best places to go badminton shopping, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One reason is because you can get almost every brand is accessible there, and they even have more brands than some other regions. And to give you an example, desirable, let's call them tier 2 brands, where like, you know, there's Li-Ning Victor Yonex, and then you have brands such as Mizuno and Gosen that are a little less known but still very reputable. Redson, some of those are manufactured in Taiwan, and all of those are generally available in Taiwan as well. And so that's a great place to go if you need those. And yeah, there are some other brands as well. But in general, you know, if you want to find something, some badminton brand, you can generally find it in Taiwan. I think the only brand that's relatively kind of difficult, maybe not that easy to find there, is Li-Ning. And I was in China, so I was able to get some Li-Ning stuff as well. But in general, if you have to go to one place and buy your badminton gear, rackets, Taiwan is really the place to be. Unless you want Li-Ning, in which case, you know, if you're India or China, then that tends to be a little bit easier. So first of all, let's start with the stuff that I knew I was going to walk away with. So my buddy Sean, my stringer, who you've seen featured in my other videos, he is from Taiwan. He's not from Taipei, but he's from Taiwan. And he has a friend who owns a store. And so I sent him a list of the things that I wanted, and he was able to get me some of them. And importantly, that would have been the Victor DriveX 12. So I already mentioned on this channel that I was going to pick that up, so no surprise there. And that's a nice looking racket. Some things that you don't really see from the photos that you kind of see here. The color is a little less saturated than I thought it would be. All of the photos make it look really kind of bright and vibrant, but it's a little bit more of like a pastel actually. Also like partially matte, partially gloss. Actually, the kind of the top half of the frame is gloss color, and the rest of it is matte paint. Otherwise, nice looking racket. Nice thing about getting Victor in Asia, I don't know if they do this in China as well, but in Taiwan you can get Victor rackets that come without an undergrip. So it saves us a little bit of time, but that also means that our gripping video is going to be pretty short for this guy. So there's that. Oh, also side note, I think a lot of people know for Yonex rackets, the manufacturing region is important. For example, people talk about, you know, JP code Yonex rackets, or you know, Taiwan Chinese code Yonex rackets. So now that Taiwan has moved a lot of their manufacturing to China, that is a thing too. So there are going to be Taiwanese manufactured Victor rackets and also Chinese manufactured Victor rackets. Generally, Taiwan manufactured is considered the better. And so I have a TW Taiwan code DriveX 12. That's nice. Also picked up another ESG, Shape ESG. I already have one of these, and I picked up another one just because I love Redson stuff. Because it's only available in a limited number of places here in the United States, it tends to be pretty pricey here, whereas a little more affordable overseas. So I picked up another one of those, and because I figured worst case scenario, someone else can use it more than I can if I don't need two of them, but I like it. And then, so here's one that I don't know if I've mentioned this. So here's the Mizuno Acroforce 100. And no, I didn't say that wrong. It is Acroforce, not Auraspeed. Some of you may know that I own 4 of the Auraspeed rackets. The Auraspeed 1 series, there's 3 of those. There's a Focus, there's an Excel, there's a Drive. I own all 3 of those. There's also an Auraspeed 0, which I have. And here's the Acroforce 100, which is a new series of rackets, which I'm not sure if this is meant to replace Fortius as their power series. But where Auraspeed is kind of a speedy series, this is definitely meant to be more of a power series, and we can see that the top of the frame is a little boxy. And well, I'll talk about this more in my gripping video, but this is also a very nice looking racket, very subtle. Mizuno always has really mature and sophisticated paint jobs. So those are the ones that I knew I was going to get. Oh, well, okay, let's I got this one later, and I also alluded to the fact that I was going to get this Axforce 90. So this was the only racket I got in China. Actually, all the rest of these come from Taiwan. Axforce 90 new, and so I did say that I was going to get this because I own a lot of Axforce 80s, as you may know. I also own an Axforce 100. I had the Axforce 90 Dragon, but it was one of the few rackets that I've ever owned where I couldn't really, it's one of the few rackets that I've ever owned where I couldn't really figure out how to use it. And so I was excited to pick up this Axforce 90 new to see how it was different from the 90 Dragon, see if it was any better. This is a really beautiful racket. The pictures don't really do it justice. There's a lot of very subtle kind of deep metallic paint, like this beautiful kind of forest green metallic here at the bottom of the shaft. Colors are very vibrant. It's a very nice looking racket. So back to things that I obtained in Taiwan. So everything else here was not planned on my end. Well, let's talk about a couple rackets that my wife got, and actually these were kind of planned, I guess. So we went looking for the Shape 01 MG, and so many of you know that this is kind of my racket of choice, my kind of default racket of choice for mixed doubles. I use it in a lot of tournaments. It's a very stable racket, and I wanted to look for these because this is a really great kind of baseline racket. So they make 2 colors of this, the blue and the white, and I have the original blue. And when they started making this, they started making it with an undergrip. Now you can see that this has shrink wrapped handles. When they started making it in the blue color, they had an undergrip, so I would take the undergrip off and I would buy the 3U version. So they came out with the white color, and I bought a white 3U one at some point. I started using it, and I was like, wow, this is really heavy. And I measured it, and the 3U one with the shrink wrap is really heavy. And as I was using it, it was about 98 grams or something, which is really heavy. And that's kind of how I figured out that some of these brands, at least for Redson, I know, is one of those brands where in terms of the weight class, like 4U, 3U, that's the weight that you're going to get as it sits on the shelf. So if I just grip this as is, I'm only adding weight, not subtracting it. Whereas if it comes with a stock grip, you're taking it off, subtracting weight, and you're adding it on with the grip again. So as a result, with the shrink wrap, you're going to want to go down a weight class. So that's why we have 4U version here, which if I were to take the shrink wrap off and then grip it, I suspect actually it's going to come out very similar to my 3U blue versions. So we got a pair of these just so she could have a pair and I could have a pair, and we got the white one just so we could kind of distinguish those pairs. Very excited for that. My wife also picked up this Auraspeed 90F, so she has this in the blue color and the pink color. I think both may have been featured on my channel. And so here's another color, which is blue, teal, white, and pink, all kinds of, anyways. Yeah, so she already uses this racket, so it's like, why not? It's pretty cheap, so we got that. And then we got, so I wasn't specifically looking for this, but I had my eye out for it. And I'm really excited about this. So we have a pair of, one second, Mizuno Fortius IJ2. And I featured there's a black one. The black was the first paint job. This is actually a new color, the white gloss. The original was a black matte paint. And so I featured that on my channel a while back. And this is a Taiwan exclusive racket. So you cannot get this outside of Taiwan, or you can, like you can get it shipped, but this is only sold OEM in the Taiwan domestic market. So, and I surprisingly liked it quite a bit. Like the first one was kind of an impulse buy. I asked my friend, I think it was Maury, to look for it and see if he could find one, and he found one, and I started using it. I was like, oh, this is a very nice racket. So I saw they had a new color, and I was like, yeah, this is good. I really like Mizuno rackets. By the way, whole rant in and of itself, Mizuno, I think, especially if you're in Taiwan, very well, I think Taiwanese people really like Mizuno, but I think here in the US, Mizuno is like really underrated, underrepresented. That's partially because it's kind of hard to get here, but if you're going to Taiwan for badminton shopping, definitely keep an eye out for Mizuno, and I'll talk more about this in my gripping videos. That's fine. Okay, so last couple things. Here's some really fun ones. So I have here a Fleet racket. So this is Fleet, not Fellet. And I know there's a lot of discourse online about Fleet and Fellet. Are they the same brand or whatever? I'm not going to say anything that I know to not be true, but I know currently they are separate companies, and Fellet is more kind of exists more in the Southeast Asian market. So I think that would be like Malaysia. Fleet is a Taiwanese brand. Okay, so the rumors go that they kind of used to be the same company, but they split off or rebranded or whatever. I don't know what the history is. I'm not going to go into that, but I have here a Fleet racket, and this is a relatively well-known brand in Taiwan, and there are probably some people in the US here who know about this brand, and I know a couple people who have owned these rackets, and I think, first of all, very budget friendly. This was only like, it was like barely over $100, maybe 120. Yeah, a lot of casual players seem to like these, and so I wanted to pick one up, and yeah, this one happened to be on the shelf. This is the Fleet Woven 1000 VII, so that would be 7, Woven 1007. There was another one on the shelf along with this one, another Fleet Woven. I don't remember the model name, but it was slightly more head heavy and more stiff, but I felt that, since this is my first Fleet racket, and I don't know, relatively speaking, what the stiffness is, I'll go for something a little easier to use. So this says it's supposed to be about even balance, so 286 to 293, kind of even balance. That's a pretty big range, by the way, 286 to 293. Right in the middle of stiff and flexible, so we'll see if that's the case, but this should be a pretty fun, easy to use racket. Could have picked up the other one, but at that time I was like buying a lot of rackets. I'm like, I don't know if I'll have room to take back anymore. And the final racket, this was an impulse buy. So we have here a Kawasaki Lightning 9100 3. So I don't know what it is with these kind of budget tier rackets in Taiwan and these naming schemas. And actually, now that I think about it, the naming is similar to the Fleet one, where it's just like Woven 1000 VII. So it's the 6th version of the Woven 1000. You have here a Kawasaki Lightning 9100 3. So it's the 3rd version of the Lightning 9,100. Kawasaki, brand that I know they make rackets. It's one of those brands where it's like, I know they make rackets. I've never seen one or never seen it being sold. And one of the stores I went to had a lot of interesting stuff, including this Kawasaki. They had Babolat rackets as well. And so I saw this and I got curious because, first of all, this is a pretty nice looking racket. It's white and stuff. And I think what really sold me is that there are these really interesting kind of wavy portions. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus on this. Maybe I'll poke camera. Yeah, so there's this interesting wavy portion here on the frame. And you'll notice that this is actually, it's not symmetrical. Put this back myself. I'll go over this more in the gripping video. This was also pretty cheap. It was like $100, so I figured why not. Anyways, that's it for rackets, and I guess in Taiwan, I think this is pretty normal in the US too, but a lot of stores will give you kind of freebies, like free grips and like strings and stuff. So we got a bunch of random grips here, some Victor grips, some weird generic brand, Rebel, whatever, some store brand, just loose grips, got a couple of those. String packs, they give you string packs too, so we got some random stuff. Some of my classic, like Ultimax here, which is a couple packs of those, which is kind of my standard. Wife wanted to try something different, so we got a pack of Aerobite Boost for her to try. ExBolt 63, ExBolt, also ExBolt 63, mainly because they come in cute colors. She wanted to try hard strings, so we got her 63. I mean, 65 is there too, but you know, a lot of you probably know 63 breaks pretty fast, but I mean, you know, she doesn't hit that hard, so she's probably not going to break them. Got a pack of 66 Nano just because it's a nice purple color, and this is like the only Victor string that I've tried, and I think it's like kind of the closest thing to 66 Ultimax, where it's just kind of like a medium repulsion string that's kind of like the gold standard. So we also got shoes. I got a pair of Li-Ning shoes, so I think these are supposed to be Shiyu cheese shoes, and excuse me because I've like stuffed socks, so you know, travel tip, if you're traveling with shoes, you can stuff socks in there, save some room. Yeah, so I don't remember what the name of the shoe model is, but this cool like kind of camo. Here's the sole. I got this because I actually needed to play badminton while I was in China unexpectedly, and so I was like, oh shoot, I need a pair of shoes. Kind of went on Taobao and got these, and I got these because I saw that it said it had like a wide pattern, whereas like, you know, with Victor, they make it really easy with their kind of toe box shapes and, you know, V shape, U shape, 2.5, 3.0. It's a little more nebulous for other brands, but for some of the modern Li-Ning brands, they will actually say that, oh, this is, you know, kind of a narrower shoe last being kind of basically the form around which shoes formed. And then this one said it was wider, so I was like, oh, that should be comfortable. And these are really comfortable, although, you know, the stock insoles have a fair amount of cushion, but they're like really slippery, so I was like kind of sliding around on this. Gonna have to replace those. So that was good. All right, so almost done. Last thing, some reels. String reels, got 3 reels. So most of you know I use Ultimax. I wanted pink, they didn't have pink when I bought these in China. Couldn't find anywhere that sold reels in Taiwan, but you know, if you go to China, Taobao has like everything. So 66 Ultimax blue, had a reel of that. ExBolt 65. So now that I'm kind of fixing my technique again after breaking my finger, I thought it'd be nice to have a slightly firmer string, and I've had experience with 65 and I generally like it. It's the adjustment, it's not too hard because it's same gauge as Ultimax, but it's just the construction makes it a little more firm feeling, and I've also found this string to be quite durable and to hold tension quite well too. Little bonus here, VBS 66 Nano, and I talked about this. I got this for 2 reasons. One, the color is really cute. Well, actually, I got this for 3 reasons. Yeah, so color's cute. 2, it was really cheap. So these Yonex reels, I think if you buy reels in the US, these are probably like maybe $180 US dollars. If you buy them, if you can get them in Asia, so in China, these turned out to be between 100 and 120, so definitely much better. But Victor reels you can get for quite cheap. This was like maybe $70, $80, so really affordable. Obviously, it's not going to last as long. It's not going to hold tension as well as Yonex strings. But because you know I like to test out lots of rackets, and I go through strings really fast. So I burn a lot of my money on stringing. Very unfortunate, but I do it for the fans. So I decided to get a reel of, yeah, you know, a cheaper string, just so like when I do my initial test of rackets, this is now going to be what I call like my benchmark string. So when I go and string rackets for the first time, I'm going to string them with 66 Nano because it's cheaper. And if I just want to do like a quick test on a racket, you know, once I have a good feel for a racket, want to do more extensive testing, then I'll probably string Ultimax or ExBolt. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up. Sorry this video was kind of disorganized or whatever, all over the place. I was just kind of really excited to get going. Flew in last night at like 8 p.m., but it was like kind of an overnight flight, so I didn't get too much sleep on the plane. So I apologize for my scruffy appearance. Yeah, again, sorry it's been a while since I've published a video because I was on vacation since for like, I don't know, like 11, 12 days. And I have a lot of editing to get through. And yeah, so I apologize for putting out this video before I get around to my bigger projects, but I was just really excited to get around to this. So hopefully you found that exciting. Can't wait to test out these rackets, and I guess all of these are going to be featured as gripping videos. So if you miss those style of videos, which, you know, maybe not too many of you are, I guess, fans of that just because they're kind of boring, but like I'll have a lot of those coming up because I got a lot of racket scripts. So anyways, with that, thanks so much for watching. Really excited to get on these rackets, and see you in the next video.